artists. So today we're going to be learning about three-dimensional paper collages. So let's get started. For my experiment today, a lot of my experiment, since it is three-dimensional, will be outside of my sketchbook. But I do want to get my sketchbook labeled so that we know what we're working on. So the first thing I need to do is get under Media, get Collage 3D written. My next open space here. When I have that done, what I'm going to do is I'd like you to write down these 4 words. We're going to practice 4 different techniques with 3D paper collage today, and I'd like you to remember what they are. The first one is the curl. The second one is the prism. The third one is pleated or pleat. And the fourth one is tabs. This is so that you can remember the 4 techniques I'm going to show you. There are a lot more techniques, but I'm going to show you 4 today. Go ahead and pause the video and write down your keywords here. All right, now that you're back, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go on over to the collage station and go get our things that we need. So let's go on over. All right, so what we're going to need here, here's my collage station. Let's turn you guys, there we go. Here's my collage station, friends, and what we're going to need here is we're going to need a small white paper, experimental paper, and then we are also going to need a thing of glue and some scissors. From there, you will need 3 pieces of paper. You will want them in the medium and small ones. So 3, any color you want, medium or small. So I'm going to choose 1, 2, and let's do 3. All right. You can pause the video. And go get your supplies. All right. Now that you have your supplies all ready to go, we're going to start with the curling one first. You want your piece of paper to be, if you're going to curl it, it's going to kind of look like this when I'm done, and then I can curl it and glue it on. But I want my paper to be fairly thin and long, long and skinny. And when I go to do this, I find the easiest way to start with curling paper is to actually wrap it around your finger. And it could be however loose or tight. I kind of hold it and pinch it here, and then I can kind of wrap it around just to help it get its shape. That way it's starting to get its shape to where I want it. Now, when I let go, it is slightly curved. I want to add a couple tabs on the end or a couple creases on the end here so I have somewhere to glue. So here's one. Go ahead and fold that in. I'm going to fold it in towards my curve like that. Then when I go to, then I can start to twist it however which way I want. So the longer my paper is, the longer my curl, or the more my curl will be up or down. So I'm going to go ahead and just hold it like this for just a second, just so you can see what I'm going to do here. And that way too, the paper starts to really form the way I want it to. The more I kind of curl it, the more the paper forms. When I go to do my glue, remember to undo it. Remember, you might need to peel off some of the top off the top so that it can breathe again. When I go to glue it, I'm going to add my tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue to my tab here. 1 tab, and then my other tab. I don't need very much glue, just tiny itty bitty baby dots. And then I'm going to get my tabs glued down here, and I'm going to have to hold it in place here. I'm going to count to 30. And then it should be able to stick on its own. You can pause the video and go ahead and do your curl. All right, now that I've gone ahead and I've done my curl here, and I had to hold it down there for about 30 seconds, that way the glue could start to set in just like that. Now I'm going to go on to the second technique I'm going to show you. The second technique, again, I'm going to show you a prism. So I have a triangle prism here that I've already done, and I wanted to show you that it's kind of skinny but long. The longer I have it, the more sides I can have. So I can make any kind of prism, triangles, squares, whatever. So I did this triangle one. Triangles have 3 sides. Whenever I make a prism, I need one more side than what I need. So I need to make one more side than what I need. So a triangle has 3, so I folded it 4 times. All I did was I picked a spot and just folded it in, made sure all my creases were in, and then what I would do is on one of my tabs here, I'm going to make my tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue and get them glued, and glue the sides together, or glue the plates together. I might need to hold it a couple seconds to make sure it's all nice and tight, and then I can do my tiny baby dots of glue to glue it right on. I'm going to go ahead and show you a square. So a square has 4 sides, so I need to make 5 tabs. So I'm going to pick kind of how I think about how big it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be more of a rectangle, so fold it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Let's see how many sections I have here. I believe I now have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. That means when I go to do this, I'm going to go ahead and do my tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue on my last tab, one of the ones on the end. And then when I glue it together, it will make sort of a square, just like that. Then I can do my tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue on the very bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, so small. And then I can get it glued down. You can pause the video and go ahead and do a triangle or a square prism. All right, the third technique I'm going to show you today is a pleated look. And pleated just means folded look. Now remember, I only grabbed 3 long pieces of paper. So this one I'm going to cut right in half. I grabbed a longer one, but I want it to, again, be long and skinny. So for my last 2, I'm going to share a piece and I'm going to cut it right in half. All right, so for my pleated one, all it is a folded back and forth. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start. They can be however big or small you want them. And I'm just going to fold. I folded mine in, but then I need to go opposite every time. It should be about the same size every time I fold it. So if I fold it really small, I'll need to keep my folds pretty small, and I'll go back and forth every time until I'm all the way at the end. You can pause the video and go ahead and start pleating your paper. Right, now that I have my full paper pleated, I noticed that this side here, I'm going to use these as tabs. This last side here doesn't quite go the way I want it to go so that I can glue it down. Like, I'm going to glue it in, so I'm just going to fold this side in so that when I go to glue it down, I can't really see the tabs. So again, like I did with the curl, tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue on one side and on my other tab. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get it glued down. I will have to hold it there for a few seconds. Go ahead and pause the video to get your pleat glued down on your paper. Alright, the last thing I'm going to show you today is my tabs, and here's what my tab piece kind of looks like here. So what I'm going to do is with my long skinny one for today, normally I could do thinner or thicker ones, I'm going to go ahead, and the easiest way to do this is to draw a line about in the middle or so down the long side. I can do this with a ruler for my final artwork, but for practice today I'm just going to eyeball it. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw lines showing where I'm going to cut. Doesn't really matter how many lines you have, each one is going to be cut apart. Now when I go to cut this, with my scissors, I will need to cut up to that line. So I can't go past this line that I've created. I have to cut on my short lines up to the long line that I made. And I'm just going to go ahead and do all of them. Then it's going to go every other one. So I'm going to fold one back and fold one forward. Fold one back, fold one forward, I'm going to keep going till I reach the end. Go ahead and pause the video to create your tabs. Alright, now when I go to glue this down, notice I can kind of move it in and around. And notice I'm kind of running out of space here. So when I go to glue this down, I'm going to put my tiny itty bitty baby dots of glue on my tabs. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that here real fast. Don't need very much glue. This will all hold each other down. Now when I go to do this, something I haven't really shown you yet, but that is good to keep in mind, is I can go through the different structures on my board already. So like if I want to go through my prism I've already created, then I can go ahead and do that, and then I would just glue down my tabs around. And what I like to do for this one is I like just to hold a few of them in place. Again, I'm going to count to 30 and I will be all glued in. Alright, go ahead and glue down, pause the video, and go ahead and glue down your tabs. Alright, now that I've glued down my tabs, I can't really put it into my sketchbook very well, but what I am going to do for today when I go to clean up is I am going to make sure that I put this on top of my sketchbook, or put my name right here. So I would put my name right here in the corner so that we know whose it is, and then I can get it put back on, I can get it put up at the collage station for drying, since it won't really fit on the drying rack. When I'm done with my experiment, I can move down if I want to make an artwork with this kind of three-dimensional paper techniques going on to make something interesting and abstract. Then I can go ahead and plan it. When I go to plan this, I want to think about it from the side view. So if this is my paper here, my flat piece of paper, my flat white piece of paper for my final, and it's going to be bigger than what you did your experiment on, then I could go ahead and draw things from the side. So I want to think about it in overlapping. So if I want a prism, then I would need to draw a square on top. If I want another prism behind that, maybe a triangle this time, then I need to go ahead and draw that, and I want to show how tall it's going to be. If I want a curly one that's going to go over things, then I can draw just simple lines to kind of curl around to show where I want that curl. Maybe I want a pleated one. I can do zigzag lines to show where my zigzags are going to go. Maybe I want a tabbed one, in which case I could kind of go back and behind to show where my tabs might go. And this is just to get an idea about how to draw things when we're three-dimensional. Then I'm going to share my idea. I can show my experiment and my plan to a friend and keep going. Happy creating!